All right, it's Thursday evening, about 10 o'clock at night, and I got a package in the mail today, and I just threw it on my bench here, went inside, had dinner, did some laundry, and I'm like, I can't wait till the weekend. So I opened it up, and it is the Carb kit. And I gotta say, I'm pretty happy because this kit wasn't supposed to be here till next Tuesday, but it showed up early. I bought it on eBay. Let's see, I got it from Chicago Corvette Supply. It said, there we go, 39 to 60 carb kit, Carter B&B, 1 barrel, Mopar, 41.45. That's what it cost. I think it was like $6 or $8 shipping or something like that. But it did say it had the gaskets for the new ethanol fuel, so that was a plus. So I was like, all right, I probably could have shopped around a little more, but the price was right, and it came early. So I had to open the box up. And it comes with a whole bunch of gaskets for different configurations and different jettings, or actually needle and seat, I should say, for the float. But I matched up all the gaskets. It's got the needle and seat for the style that I have. So I'll leave that in the bag for now. The accelerator pump, it's all good. All the gaskets match up. It's got the new ball bearings and a couple other things I'm really not going to tear into because I don't really need to, but I'll hang on to it for future use. But I wanted to show you something because I broke out my high school, now this was 1985, auto shop manual book here. There it has my name. Yeah, I got a little bit of trouble in school and I wasn't able to return my book at the end of the semester, so I wound up keeping it. But I'm glad I did. I like going through it every now and then. And I got to show you something. Because the problem I was having with my 41 Dodge is basically right here. You know, a problem, flat spot upon acceleration. I'm in the fuel system, and it breaks down the accelerator pump. And if you look here, the diagram they have is almost identical to a single barrel. Well, it is a single barrel carburetor, but it's as simple as you can get. Here's the accelerator pump. Now, granted, it's a little different style, but the problem I had is if you come up in this little section right here, something was clogging this passageway. Is it going to focus? Yeah, that hole right there. See that little tiny hole? Something was clogging that passageway, and this is the accelerator pump slot right here. That when you hit that throttle, this goes down. It shoots a little extra burst of fuel in here as the butterflies open. If it doesn't, it'll just die. So, but here's an example, a really good drawing of what it does off idle. You can see the fuel spraying in. I'm pretty sure that's regular gas because this book is from 1969 and we're still using it in 85. They probably used this book all the way up until they got rid of shop classes in high school and went to liberal arts studies of some sort. But here's a great diagram of the carburetor. It explains the acceleration circuit just perfect. You know, this is working on carburetors is becoming a lost art. And I think I agree, you know, fuel injection is way better. But hey, if you want to work on the old stuff, you have to know how to work on the old stuff. And luckily for me, my dad's still around. I can ask him questions, stuff that I don't know. But I learned a lot from him. And I learned a lot just because growing up in the days of old tractors and cars, you had to know this stuff. When you're sitting on the side of the freeway and your car won't work, you know, you couldn't plug in your cell phone to the OBD port and then download a code. Now you had to open the trunk and get out the toolbox and take the top of your carburetor off and fiddle with the float, you know. But that's the problem I had. So tonight I'm going to put this carburetor back together. It's all laid out. Everything's been cleaned and cleaned up, and the tools that are required is tonight I'm going with a Gatorade and the small, and a screwdriver. And I will need a pair of small needle nose because if you look, see that little keeper? Yeah, I'm going to need a little keeper to snap that little thing back in. And if it goes flying across the shop, I got another one. Or do I? Okay, I don't see one. Oh yeah, they are. Ooh, they're anodized. That means it's going to go faster. All right, so check back in a little bit. We'll show you how far we come along. Okay, one thing I want to show you here is if you're doing this carburetor yourself, is there's a gasket, a spacer, and a gasket. Pretty simple, right? But you got to pay attention. There is a slight difference in the inside diameter of these gaskets. You want to put the bigger one on the bottom, like so. Set your piece on top, and then your smaller one, or is it the other way around? Nope, other way around. Yep, you get the point. Yeah, see, that's the bigger one, and then you put your smaller one, or else it won't worky. Okay, the base of the carburetor has been assembled. All it is 2 bolts, 2 gaskets, and a little spacer. Now I'm going to install the, let's see, I'll go with the accelerator pump and the linkage for it. Okay, this is what the accelerator pump looks like assembled. There's a spring and a little cap on top. You push it down and you got a little opening in the middle where you can twist it. And then I usually just wet the accelerator pump with a little not carburetor fluid, but a little bit of lube. Okay, it's time to install the accelerator pump linkage, which has a little notch in it. Goes into the accelerator pump arm, like so, and then it spins around. Okay, let's get this. And it goes into the butterfly down here on the throttle body. Now, you gotta take that little tiny pin, or that clip, I should say, and I got it without, oh, no I didn't. I wanna make sure that's on there all the way. You don't want that coming off. All right, there it is, it's on there. So, now when you turn the throttle, the accelerator pump goes down. Now, so what happens is this fills up, when the fuel pump's on, there's a little check valve down here. So every time that goes up, it fills up with fuel, and then when this comes down, it compresses the spring and it slowly pushes the plunger down and shoots the fuel through the venturi. So right now it's just compressing the spring, but it will snap into action when it gets a little bit of fuel in there. All right, let's move on to the top cover. Oh, I got ahead of myself. Got to move on to the float. All right, I've already had this float out and I soaked it I set it in a cup of water, make sure it's floating good, which it is. And all right, get it in there. It has a retainer clip. I need 2 hands, but the float drops in. You got a retainer clip that goes behind it to keep pressure on it, and then you screw in the needle in the seat, which is also where the fuel line comes in. So let's take the one off the fuel filter and put the new one on. Okay, I had to play with it a few times to get it the right way, but there's a keeper spring that goes across the top. This little flapper right here, that's where you make your adjust. Okay, my finger's in the way. This little flapper right here is where you make your adjustments on the float. So when it runs out of fuel, it comes down, and inside there is the jet of the needle that opens up, lets more fuel in, the float goes up, and it shuts it off. Pretty simple design. All right, the last thing is the top gasket, which I say there's a couple different models, or a couple different sizes in the box to choose from. Do I have the right one? Let me see here. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. That's not it. And this is the reason why you never get rid of your old gaskets. Wait a second. Let me take and match this up with the gasket. Okay, that goes like that. Well, that is the right gasket. So, all right, shut it off one more time. There you go. That's what the hammer's for, getting that gasket on there nice and tight. All right, so what I'm going to do before I fill this up is I want to check the float levels. So I'm going to get out the little measuring tools and the micrometer and the micrometer, and I'm going to mess with this. So give me a second. Okay, there it is, all put back together. One little difference, on my other carburetor, the fuel inlet was a female, and I had to have this little nipple to go to the fuel filter, where this one has a nipple built into it. So once I get it back on the carburetor, I just got to put some Teflon tape on there, and I'll be able to put the fuel filter back on. So that's all good. I'm going to set that aside. Hopefully tomorrow when I get home from work. Looking forward to, what's that? Oh, piece of steel. When I get home from work tomorrow, get that back on the truck. Now I got the this is the governor that I need to put back on, and it came with, I got two gaskets. I got one that will go on the top of the governor, and then I got this thicker one, which I was hoping came with the kit, will go on the bottom, and I won't need to reuse or go down to Napa and try to hunt for a little thicker base gasket, even though I still might. But for now I should be able to get this thing running. Shouldn't be too far out of sync on the idler screw, so I didn't really mess with that. I counted the turns, pulled it out, put it right back in the same turns when I cleaned the system out. So, all right, one more step down for this 1941 Dodge weapons carrier, WC-6 command car with the D6A2 carburetor. Not much of a rebuild tutorial here, but still pretty cool. One thing I'm thinking about doing is losing the oil bath air cleaner and looking for something. I had some air cleaners off my 37, but they're too big. That's way bigger. That's for the tri-powers over there. But I'm gonna find something else to put on here so I get rid of that oil bath. Hang on to it, just won't use it. All right, thanks for watching Simplify, and check back on Sunday for my weekend number 9. Thank you.